Attention passionate Chicago, BARS. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Chicago Bears' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Chicago Bears fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Chicago, BARS. Let's get to the news now, folks, buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you could be a game changer not just for the Bears, but for the entire NFC North. It's a story that's been bubbling under the surface for a while now, and it's finally reached a boiling point. And no, I'm not just talking about some rumor or speculation. This is about a real potential blockbuster trade that could reshape the landscape of the NFL, especially for the Chicago Bears. It involves none other than Micah Parsons, one of the most disruptive and dominant defensive players in the league today. That's right, Parsons, the guy who has been a nightmare for quarterbacks across the league, might be heading to the Windy City. Imagine that for a second. The Bears, a team that's been rebuilding and retooling for a few years now, suddenly adding a player of this caliber. It's almost hard to believe, but it's gaining momentum. And before I get into the details of why this makes so much sense for Chicago, let's take a moment to appreciate who Micah Parsons really is. The guy is a freak of nature on the field. Through just 63 games, he's managed to rack up an astonishing 5 sacks. That's not just good, that's elite, historical even. When you watch Parsons play, it's like watching a chess master who's always 10 steps ahead of the offensive line. His speed, agility, relentless motor, it's all there, making him one of the most feared pass rushers in the entire NFL. Now, why is this relevant for the Bears? Well, one of the biggest issues they've faced in recent seasons has been on the defensive line. Despite some solid additions like Dayo Odeyingbo, the pass rush has been inconsistent, and the team's ability to pressure the quarterback has often fallen short. Montez Sweat has been a decent presence, but let's be honest, he's only had 5 sacks over the past 2 seasons. It's not enough. And while Odeyingbo had a decent 8 sacks in 2023, he only managed 3 last year. The Bears need someone who can be a game wrecker, a guy who can change the course of a game with a single play, and Parsons is exactly that type of player. And here's where it gets really interesting. The Bears, much like with the Khalil Mack trade back in the day, have a window to make a bold move. When they acquired Mack from Oakland, it transformed their defense practically overnight. That trade involved 2 first-round picks, a third and a sixth, in exchange for Mack, a second-round pick and a conditional 5th. It was a bold move, but it paid off in many ways. Despite not getting the ultimate postseason success, the Bears built one of the league's most formidable defenses during that period. Fast forward to now, and there's a similar opportunity staring them in the face. Parsons, just like Mack at the time, is a 27-year-old superstar who can elevate an entire team. In a hypothetical trade, the Bears could offer a package that might include multiple first-round picks, maybe a second-rounder, and some additional assets. The comparison here is direct, because Parsons is at that level. His impact on the field would be immediate and profound. It's not just about the stats, though. It's about the kind of presence he brings to the defense. When you add a player like Parsons, you're not just improving one position, you're transforming your entire defensive philosophy. Opposing quarterbacks would have to think twice before dropping back confidently, knowing that Parsons could be coming around the edge at any moment. His ability to collapse the pocket, force turnovers, and set the tone for the entire defense is unmatched. And for a team like the Bears, who are trying to get back into serious playoff contention, that kind of elite pass rush can be the difference maker. Let's take a moment to consider the current state of the Bears roster. They've got a solid core of offensive weapons, with Justin Fields leading the charge and a talented group of receivers and running backs supporting him. But the defense, especially the pass rush, has been a weak link. Adding Parsons would be like installing an all-star on your defense, a guy who can single-handedly change the narrative. It could take their defense from decent to dominant in just a matter of weeks. And if we look at the division, with the Packers, Lions, and Vikings all investing heavily in their rosters, Chicago needs to punch back hard. Now, some fans might be wondering, is this just wishful thinking? Could the Cowboys really trade Parsons, especially since they've publicly said they don't plan to? Well, that's the fascinating part. Jerry Jones has been quite vocal about his thoughts on Parsons' contract situation, and it hasn't been exactly positive. His comments suggest that if the Cowboys can't come to an agreement with Parsons on an extension, they might be open to trading him. And that's where the Bears could come in, making a bold move to land one of the league's most disruptive defenders. As for the value, a lot of NFL insiders compare this potential trade to the Khalil Mack deal. When Mack was traded from Oakland to Chicago, the Bears paid a hefty price, 2 first-round picks, a third and a sixth. But they got a game-changing player in return, a guy who immediately elevated their defense. Now, Parsons is even younger and arguably more explosive than Mack was at that point in his career. So, it's fair to say that a similar package could be on the table, maybe with some adjustments. The Bears might need to add a second-rounder or more, but the core idea remains the same. They could be looking at a deal that makes them instant contenders. And speaking of contenders, let's not forget that the Bears are already on the cusp. They've got a good foundation on offense, with Justin Fields showing flashes of greatness and a promising group of offensive weapons. If they can add Parsons to their defense, they would be a team to watch in the NFC. Their odds to make the playoffs are already pretty decent, sitting at around plus 190 according to FanDuel. But if they bring in Parsons, those odds could skyrocket, turning them into a real dark horse for a deep playoff run. Imagine that, an elite defense combined with a talented offense led by Fields and his supporting cast. This team could be a serious threat in the postseason. Now, how would Parsons fit into the Bears' scheme? Well, he's incredibly versatile. He can line up on the edge as a pass rusher or drop into coverage if needed, giving defensive coordinator Alan Williams a lot of flexibility. His presence would free up other players, like Montez Sweat, to focus on their jobs without constantly doubling Parsons. That's the kind of impact that can make a defense truly elite. And if the Bears can get him, they'd be creating a nightmare for offensive coordinators across the league. Of course, there are questions. Will the Cowboys really trade Parsons? What would the package look like? And how does Parsons himself feel about potentially leaving Dallas? Those are questions only time will answer. But the fact remains, this is a scenario that's gaining traction, and it's one that Bears fans should be excited about. Because if it happens, it could be the move that takes the team from good to great, from playoff hopefuls to genuine Super Bowl contenders. The NFC North is already competitive, but with Parsons on their side, the Bears could be the team everyone's talking about come next season. And let's not forget the history here. The Bears have a tradition of making bold moves when it counts. The Mack trade was a prime example, and it worked out well enough to give them a taste of what's possible when they go all in. Now, with a chance to land Parsons, who might even be considered a better fit for their defense, it's hard not to get excited about what's ahead. The NFL is a league of stars, and having a star like Parsons on your team can be the catalyst for greatness. It's about building a team that's not just good but feared. And right now, the Bears have the opportunity to do just that. So, as we keep following the rumors and the potential for this blockbuster trade, one thing's clear. The Chicago Bears are in a prime position to make a statement. They can choose to be cautious, or they can seize this moment and go all in. If they do, they'll send a message to the rest of the league that they're not here to just compete, they're here to dominate. And with Parsons, they might just have the missing piece to finally unlock their true potential. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Chicago Bears news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Chicago Bears fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Bears. Do you think Parsons will be traded? Would you support a move like this? How do you see him fitting into the team's future? This is what makes being a fan so exciting, sharing opinions, debating, and dreaming of what's possible. And remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Chicago Bears news. From rumors to real possibilities, we'll keep you informed and fired up for what's to come. Thanks for sticking with us, and as always, bear down.